What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video with your boy Ike. Today we back with another reaction video, and today we are reacting to how the Democrats was reacting after Trump won the 2024 presidential election. And in no way am I a politician. In no way am I sitting on a seat saying this should go. I'm with this, I'm with that. I'm not here doing that. I'm just here to see how the Democrats were reacting after the loss. Because on social media, all I saw was everybody pushing for Kamala. Everybody saying, vote for Kamala, get Kamala in office. You don't want Trump back in office. We need Kamala. And the way they was going so crazy, the way they was going so hard, I want to see how they acting after the loss. Because I really didn't get into this year's election. I didn't really get into the politics of the things in that nature. So I really don't know what happened, what went down. So really, I can't wait to see, man. But before we get into this reaction, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because we is on the road to 27K. Hit that bell to be notified every time I drop another video. Follow me on the social media. The link to the social media is down in the description below. Make sure you join that membership so you get exclusive access to the channel. And with all that being said, let's get in this reaction.
Kamala Harris's loss, a stunning defeat for Democrats.
I'm just devastated.
A somber mood in Harris's watch party overnight after Donald Trump dominated, blowing through the so-called blue wall of Midwest states that Democrats
he did dominate, I ain't gonna care.
Improving on his 2020 margins in more than 2,000 counties nationwide. In the key swing state of Pennsylvania, Harris underperforming President Biden's results. And further down the ballot, Republicans also flipped the Senate to their side.
America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate.
Now for Democrats.
But to be real, bro, Democrats, come on. Like I said, I'm not into politics. I ain't care who won, actually. But to be a Democrat, you gotta think about it. You didn't actually think she was gonna win. It's just thinking with logic. You didn't think she was actually gonna win, right? She was just thrown into the race. You see what I'm saying? Like, last minute, right when the election was about to start. So she had to try to rush to get a lot of voters, bro. Yeah, she was the vice president of Biden, but that was Biden votes. That was his people. All them people that voted for Biden probably wasn't feeling the same way about Biden after his 4 years. But her just being thrown into the fire like that, she had no time to really gather voters. Now, if Biden would have said like a year before, you know, things were about to get down to the election that he was gonna drop out and not run again and give it to Kamala, then she probably had a better fighting chance. But I don't know.
That's the soul searching begins. After an unprecedented race with Harris stepping in as the presidential candidate, just 100 days ago when President Biden withdrew, Harris tried to distance herself from Biden, but perhaps was still hampered by his legacy.
This is about what the Democrats did while in office over the last 4 years.
See,
inflation,
look, come on
which
now.
was so high.
Like, come on, bro. Like I said, I wasn't even into the politics. I wasn't even into the things in that nature. But I just think with logic. Over the past 4 years, the people probably ain't feel the same way they felt when they voted for Biden.
During much of this administration. And many people are still feeling the pain of that.
Exit polls show voters listed the economy as a major issue. Harris also underperforming in key areas.
Where she's coming up short are in the cities.
Even struggling
it was really a
in
landslide.
strongholds like
That's
New York
crazy.
and Virginia, despite a massive campaign blitz from major Democratic stars. Harris also came up short with key minority groups. According to exit polls, Latino men favoring Trump by a 10-point margin.
And that's crazy.
After backing President Biden by 23 points 4 years ago. Democrats now face an uphill battle.
We know it is time for a new generation of leadership in America.
With Harris's message clearly not resonating with enough voters, Democrats are now left trying to sort out how to turn the page now. And already you're beginning to hear questions in terms of that Monday morning, or in this case Wednesday morning, quarterbacking among Democrats. Among the questions right now, whether it would have made better sense for President Biden after Democratic successes in the midterms in 2022 to have stepped down then. Remember, he promised to be a
come on now, bro. Like, hey, man, maybe I should get into politics. You know what I mean? Maybe I should sit down and be like, hey, let me put my thought into this. But the same thing I just see earlier in the video, he just said, if maybe he would have stepped down a year or two before, you know what I mean, the election was getting closer, then maybe she would have had a better fighting chance. But stepping down months before the election is about to happen, there was no way that lady could have won. And I'm not saying that she couldn't have won. I'm just saying she needed more time to gather more voters. Now, who said she wouldn't have been the best president president in the world? We don't know. But she didn't have a fighting chance because of how quick and rapid things was for her. You see what I'm saying, bro? That's why it was a landslide. Like, you didn't know what she really was going to do, so why not go with somebody that you already know? I know what he going to do. We don't know what Kamala going to do because she ain't had the time to actually explain and tell us what she going to do to better the country. That's all it is, bro.
The past to allow for a full primary for the Democrats to pick their candidate going forward and perhaps to give that candidate more time to gear up for this battle with Donald Trump. The bottom line is there are so many questions, so few answers, and the Democrats have a lot of figuring out what to do next that begins right now.
All right, Peter, thank you so much.
That's all it was. It was just a time thing.
Walker. So let's talk about that.
Time is a real thing.
A lot of soul searching and hand wringing and probably some finger pointing. And let's just start where Peter brought it up. I mean, is the fundamental, the original sin here that Biden stayed in the race when perhaps he should have stepped aside and had an open primary and perhaps Democrats would have had a better shot? Is that one of the lessons Democrats are talking about?
Absolutely. It's one of the things that Democrats are talking about, the timing of when he stepped aside, because remember, there was so much debate, even when he did step down in the summer, about potentially holding an open primary. Could that have made Vice President Harris a stronger candidate if she were the one who had emerged at the top of the ticket after a robust primary process? And also that condensed period of campaigning deprived her, I think, of the long runway that a typical candidate has to really lay out what they see their vision as if they were to win office.
I mean, Trump winning the popular vote right now, the map looks almost all red. And there were a lot of things the Harris campaign was counting on. They were counting on a lot of women coming out. They were probably counting on a lot of minorities coming out. A lot of them did come out, but many of them came out for Trump.
That's right, and not enough of them came out for her. I spoke with one person close with her, I want to say 12 hours before polls closed, maybe it was 18 hours before polls closed, who said, listen, I think we are going to see less of an underperformance with Black and Latino voters than people are predicting here because of what they had been seeing. That was simply not the case, right? Because we see it in these exit polls and we see it in the results.
I feel it was just a matter of comfortability. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, she just didn't have enough time. You got to keep stressing that because that was the real reason. Not saying she would have won if she had enough time. Not saying she would have lost if she had enough time. All I'm saying is she just ain't have enough time. So we didn't know what she can do. People know what Trump was going to do. He did it already. A lot of people agree with what he did. A lot of people agree with what he's going to do. So it was just a matter of comfortability. Hell, it was.
In these counties after county where you've seen, very blue in 2016, less blue in 2020, red in this year in places like Texas, right? Some of these heavily Latino counties in parts of Texas here. What's so interesting, and Savannah and Hoda, we talk about this, and you've said this on other contexts and other nights, is having a bit of humility here. And I do think that as journalists, political pundits out there, et cetera, there will have to be a reckoning inside the Democratic Party, but we don't yet fully know what that looks like, right? I think we can sense the contours of it, that is going to have to exist, but it could go in a lot of different directions because there are some takeaways that I think Democrats are having to process at this moment. You also look at people who are showing up to vote for the first time. And remember, these first-time voters, they broke for Joe Biden 4 years ago. They broke for Donald Trump this year. So there's something about the Democratic messaging, the Democratic candidate, obviously that didn't work.
And what's so notable as well,
I wonder what it was.
This is the first presidential election after Roe v. Wade was overturned. We spent a lot of time
talking about
what
made Democrats really say
and the way to think
Trump.
about it may not be in the context
not saying
of
they're wrong for what they
President
did
versus Senate, but rather
I'm just saying,
the
I
fact
wonder
that you
what,
still have people energized, with the exception of the state of Florida, around some of these measures, 10 different states to enshrine abortion rights, and yet Democrats thought that would be one of the energizing factors for them, and it just did not turn out that way.
It was a ballot winner up until Donald Trump was on the ballot.
Yeah, and so when you talk about this idea of people who can sort of exist in different boxes and be parts of different categories, right, as we're seeing now with what Chuck Todd has called this realignment right now demographically of where the Republican Party is, there are people, and we have seen it now in states, who say, yes, let's enshrine abortion access and protect abortion rights. And I also want Donald Trump to be in the White House. Again,
I won't speak on what women should do with their body, but what is Donald Trump, what is he pushing for when it comes to that? I really don't know. I see a lot of people on social media, did when this stuff was going on, because at that time, everybody was politicians, saying things about Trump abortion, and he is trying to help women, and he's not trying to help women. So that's why I don't get into it, because I really don't know. So what was his agenda, is his agenda for abortion rights?
Vice President Harris Harris, spent months casting these states as having Trump abortion bans, as she put it.
He
that
wanted
did not
banned.
resonate with some of the folks in these battlegrounds.
We've also seen this realignment in terms of what we've been calling the education gap, because we can't think of a better way to put it. But you're starting to really see this line. The line of demarcation is not about race necessarily, and not necessarily about gender, but it falls on college-educated voters, non-college educated voters. I remember hearing a lot from the Democrats in the final days. Oh, Kamala Harris has such a diverse coalition. It's all the way from AOC on the left to Liz Cheney on the right. But that's all a party, that's an elite college-educated party.
You talked to Jason Miller about this, a senior Trump advisor, just this morning, and he said something that I think is correct and that we've seen in the this Donald Trump has brought working class voters, period, across these racial lines, across these gender lines, into the Republican tent here. And that is different from what we've seen before.
He beat her 276 to 223? God, bro, damn. I heard it was a landslide, but god damn, bro.
Racial lines, across these gender lines, into the Republican tent here. And that is different from what we've seen before.
Damn.
How long lasting is it? We'll see, right?
Rubio said something similar. He said the only identity that matters in terms of these Latino voters is they're Americans.
And
yeah,
that is why
crazy.
you are
that
hearing Democrats
a lot
saying
of Democrats
we have to have a reckoning. We're hearing a lot of that word today because they have to look at the electorate differently, not in terms of different racial groups, but as you're saying, really meeting them, as one person said, where they are, talking to them about the issues they care about.
I keep thinking that half the country is waking up right this moment elated and cheering, and half the country is waking up this moment and saying, oh no, what's going to happen? Everyone's waiting for Kamala Harris to speak. Donald Trump did speak about healing. So what do you think as we go forward?
So I think this is an interesting question, because there have been moments in the past when former President Trump, now President-elect Trump, has spoken about perhaps having a unifying message, and then that was not the message that he delivered. So I just look at the past 8 years of having covered him, of having him having been in the public spotlight here. He is somebody who has been crystal clear about his day one and his first priorities, and most of them are pretty controversial, depending on where you sit in the political spectrum here. So I think that is, I think back to Inauguration Day 2016, American...
She said he got, what his plan is, what his agenda is.
He is somebody who has been crystal clear about his day one and his first priorities, and most of them are pretty controversial, depending on where you sit in the political spectrum here. So I think that is, I think back to Inauguration Day 2016, American carnage. He closed his campaign on this dark and defiant message, right? And so he doesn't have much incentive. He won the popular vote for the first time since he's been running for president in 3 cycles. He looks like he's going to do very well on some of these battlegrounds.
I see a lot of Democrats switched because they ain't no way. 276 to 223.
Tone, former Congresswoman Liz Cheney posted on X saying we have to accept these results. That's what our democracy is about.
Yeah, exactly right.
People spoke for the first time.
Thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show.
The people spoke for the first time. No cap. Think about it. Usually, a president-elect sometime they'll win a popular vote but still lose the electoral vote. Just like with Hillary, she won a popular vote but still lost the election. But Donald Trump got both. So that means the people spoke. You can't vote nobody but your people, because that's the ones who voted. The people spoke. All you can do is accept it. He's your president. Ain't no reason to stay upset. There's nothing you can do about it at this point. You shouldn't want to be on the other side of the fence in your own country. That's the way I'm at. That's my whole opinion, bro. All you can do is jump on board. That's all you can do. And they're just thinking with logic. Ain't nothing you can do. What you gonna do? What your tweeting saying Trump is this, Trump is that gonna do? It's not gonna get him out the office. So it's like, what can you do, man? Nah, I feel like if Kamala had more time, then maybe they should have had a better fight in the race, bro. Because 223 to 276 is insane. I'm not gonna care. I ain't into all the stuff, but I know schools don't be looking like that. The way Biden dropped up the race was insane. They just pushed her into the fire and just told her to do her thing, wild out. It wasn't gonna work like that. So maybe in 4 years, she come back. In 4 years, we guarantee a new president. So if she come back, there you go. But man, that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed this reaction, make sure you give it a fat thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel because we is on the road to 27K. Hit that bell to be notified every time I drop another video. Follow me on the social media. The link to the social medias is down in the description below. Make sure you join that membership to unlock exclusive access to the channel. And with all that being said, I'm gonna see you in the next one, man. Peace.
You can't put on that drip, he ain't one of us. How you ride in the Benz and a Tonka truck? How you got everybody lit piping up? Oh, she bad with no swag, I can pipe her up.